Hey guys, Ryan here, and today I'm going to bring you a replay in the Tier 8 Premium Italian Medium Tank, the Ariete Progetto 46. I'm able to with Atheno in his Stone Cold, and we're going to be on Countess Assault. Now, I just want to say, this replay from about a month ago. The Progetto, just over 5,000 gold, and I thought I'd buy it, because I never played an AutoReloader before, and I've never grinded the Italian line. But me making the replay today is actually quite useful because tomorrow, on Tuesday, the Italian medium tanks are actually going to be on track. So it actually works out quite well timing-wise. I'm going to bring you my first ever replay of the Italian mediums on my channel the day before it's on track. Now, why did I buy this tank? Because I never had an auto-reloader before. And I know most of you are going to know this, but for those who don't, the Italian mediums, when you get the Tier 8, including the Premium, have auto-reloaders, and that means, unlike a regular reloader, they reload the shells one at a time, and you're always reloading whenever you use one, rather than having to fire all the shots and go for a full reload. Now also, when you have no rounds in your magazine, the first shell you load takes the longest, and the last shell you load takes the least amount of time to load in. And what that means is, if you get fully loaded and then fire one shell at a time and then wait, you have more DPM. Whereas if you fire all your shots, and then just have the last shell and keep firing it one at a time, you're going to have the worst possible DPM you can get. And the thing to remember is, even if you use this tank as efficiently as possible and only ever fire the last shell loaded, so that you always have all 3 rounds loaded and you're only firing the first one, and your DPM is as good as you're ever going to get it, the actual DPM is quite low on this tank. But despite that, I really like this tank. It's very fun to play. And I'll explain now why. Now, the vehicle doesn't have much armor, but it is quite mobile. You get decent gun depression, decent view range, decent gun handling. But the reason I like this tank is I just feel like it's a very rewarding playstyle. Because of the way the auto-reloader works and you lose DPM when you fire all your shots, what that means is, you can look at the battlefield and you think, depending on the situation, do I only fire 1 shot, do I fire 2 shots, or do I fire 3 shots? And you look at how much health is the enemy on, what kind of tank is he in, is it a dangerous vehicle, do you have teammates near you that could support you if you fire all the shots so that you have the time to reload, how many enemies are near you, are they going to push you if you fire all the shots? You look at all these different things to decide how many shells to fire, and if you fuck up in this tank, you fire all the shells unnecessarily, and you lose all your DPM and enemies rush you, you're dead. You really fuck up. But when you get it right, I found it to be quite satisfying. So, even though some people don't like the Italian medium tanks with the auto-reload because they're poor DPM, and I've not had an amazing game in this yet, I don't even think I've gotten over 4k damage in my Progetto yet, it's just really fun to play, and it's really satisfying when I get it right, with how many shells to fire. Now we're pushing for the King Tiger. I'm spotted, and you're going to see I'm going to wait until I'm unspotted before crossing over. Now there's no artillery for me to worry about either. Now something else I mentioned, there is a bug with the Progetto, where sometimes when you fire all your shots you start reloading, it will reload the first shell and then stop reloading. And then you have to like switch ammo types in order to start the reload all over again. Which can be annoying, but it hasn't cost me any games yet. But if you were in the middle of a fight and it only loaded the 1 shell and you had to restart the reload, I could see that being very troublesome for some people. Now I can't remember how much standard pen this thing gets, 208 or 212 millimeters of penetration. It's more than enough. I very rarely find myself loading premium rounds in this. Now what you're going to see me do is I traded a shot with a Charioteer, which was not good, because I've got a very nice gun, 390 Alpha, and an incredible pan. And there's going to be some situations in this game where you're going to see where I could fire more shots, but I don't, because I'm just trying to get used to not firing all my shells. However, as I come on the corner for the light tank, what's going to happen is, he's going to move, I'm going to try and get a shot in, but I'm going to hit a dead tank that's behind the bush, and I back up the reload. Now look at where I'm at. I've got teammates behind me, I know there's going to be no enemies behind me, I've got the time to shoot, I'm in a safe position, and that is a top tier T-30 tank destroyer. Very dangerous tank, and it's just worth putting all 3 shots into him. The other thing to consider, as you saw there, is where are the enemies positioned? If they're in the open field on Malinovka you can just fire one shot at a time. You see the bug, by the way, it's only loaded with one shell, and it's not reloading anymore. I've not noticed straight away, because I'm looking at the map formulating a plan. I then notice, and I just change ammo types real quick, back to premium, and then back to standard, in order to restart the reload. But anyway, if the enemy's on Malinowka in an open field, you can afford to fire one shot and wait, because he'll still be in the open field by the time you reload. But that T-30 was in a position where he could back up and turn his turret, and then he'd be in cover. So it was worth me firing the 3 shots, because I was about to lose my shots on him if I waited for the next reload. So all these things you have to think about when playing the auto-reloaders makes them so much fun. And another T-30, by the way, with the big gun. So what I'm going to do is, or a T-30 with the big gun. He's got really bad DPM, so I'm going to push him, go around the corner. I'm fully loaded, and because he's a T-30 with a big alpha gun, long reload, I'm going to use multiple shots, and now I'm going to wait for the full reload. And one of the situations where the saving the shots will help will be if you've got a lot of hit points and a medium tank is just pushes around the corner for you, and there's another medium tank coming to push you, or a light tank, and they're not one shots. You want to fire the one shot at a time, or 2 shots depending on the hit points, because by having more DPM, that will allow you to kill both of the medium tanks pushing you. Whereas if the first tank comes round and you empty your magazine, your DPM will be so poor that they might be able to finish you off before you reload. And it's things like that. As I said, I can't get over the auto-reload system and how interesting I find it. And how enjoyable I find it. Even though I've not actually had a great game yet. Although I think I've only played like 12 battles or so in this tank. Although, now that the Progetto tech tree line is going to be on track, it might be time for me to start grinding them. Now I have lots of other lines I need to finish and that I'm quite far on, but even if I only get the Progetto line up to tier 6 or 7, I'll be happy. Now something else I'd mentioned as I just pick up the last few kills here, I unfortunately missed that one. I've not been uploading much recently. I've been taking part in that spring-fall tournament as part of Army Guy's team over the weekend. So, only a couple short videos, and I apologize for lack of content, but the next games aren't until next week, so we'll be back to kind of regular schedule. Get one shot into the King Tiger, bit of assistance, and this game ends. Now again, not a crazy result, but I just thought I'd bring you a video into Progetto before the on-track happens, and show you about the auto-reloader, and just how interesting and enjoyable I find this tank to play. Definitely not for newer players. You need to play a bit more carefully and use a bit more tactics when playing this vehicle. So I came first, Atheno came third, about 2500 damage, 1700 assistance, over 4k combined. A decent result, and I just thought a pretty decent game to show you what this tank's about, and 150k profit as well is always nice. So thank you guys for watching, hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you all in the next one.